Hey y'all, so this is my review for the White Lotus season 2. I invited my friend Dooley over, who you may know from the panel that I do on Sundays. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm excited.
So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, what did you think about season 2? Like, let's start with the good. What did you love about this season?
Especially after yesterday, I think I have mixed feelings about the trajectory of the season. What did I love? I thought Italy was a great background.
I
It was
agree.
very visually stunning. I enjoyed seeing the lay of the land and how they infuse local Italian culture. It permeated every level of the show, and I thought that was really cool.
I love the acting. That was good. I felt like every episode made me want to tune into the next one. But it just
Mhm.
kind of gave me blue balls a little bit because I want
Yes,
shit to happen, But
yes.
it's like, oh, wait till the next episode on Dragon Ball Z.
Because whenever they would fight,
Mhm.
I did think the acting was really, really good. Aubrey Plaza is clearly coming for award season. It was nice. She said she has that sardonic kind of flat
That's Harper,
acting.
y'all.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza. But I appreciate it because while it was still that energy, I felt like it was different. Like I got to see her act. Like she was
Right.
acting, which I thought was actually really, really cool.
I like her a lot.
Um,
She's going to be on the new Agatha Harkness series.
I heard that. I heard that. I'm curious to see what that's going to become.
I love Jennifer Coolidge in this. I think the Emmy is definitely hers. Shout out to Daphne though, the actress who played her. At first, she started out more so like just like a dimwit, but we found out at the end that
Click.
she was like a little mastermind, and I was a little disappointed about Harper by the end, personally.
Uh-huh. So at the start of the series, I really liked Harper, and then as things kind of played out, I was like, "What is this girl doing?" And I thought Daphne started to give. She started to become more interesting as the story kind of unfolded.
Mhm. So, what did you not like about this season?
Okay. So first of all, as you pointed out, it kind of meanders. And so it does a good job at hooking you, but then you would wait and it didn't fully. I feel like we didn't get a full payoff for some of those hooks until the very end of the show.
Mm,
It felt a little slow in comparison to the first season.
mm.
Number one. Number two, there were no black folks, and I was trying to figure out what's going on with that. I would have
Yeah.
liked to see a few more folks of color, especially some niggas. Um, I was also kind of bothered by a Valentina storyline. I felt like the writers kept using these gay tropes, but it was always kind of the butt of the joke, and it wasn't you can't tell me that this 45-year-old woman is a virgin and is just now having this sexual awakening. Like that is possible. That is completely within the realm of possibility. No tea, no shade to anybody that's late bloomer, but
In the beginning, like she was kind of like a boss bitch, like in control, and then they kind of started to break her down a bit. Like she was actually lonely,
mm-hmm,
insecure, like she was a cat lady,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, well,
That's an old lesbian trope. It's this is current, this is in 2022. Lady Gaga has been born. We have seen Born This Way. Come on, girl. Rosie O'Donnell exists. The L word is out.
mm. What else I didn't like was I'm guessing we could get to the endings. Like I just felt like there were just so many open-ended questions. I don't mind when it's like left to the viewer interpretation, but there was a lot of questions that were unanswered. And I was just like, where's Greg? I mean, are they gonna trace this back to him? What
Probably.
happens with dumbass Portia? You know, like
Can we talk about her, Chris?
yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to the storylines in a second.
Oh, okay. We can put a pin because I want to cuss her out the most.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of there's a lot of stupidity on this show. But let's get to the first few storylines. So the first one was the couples. I was just hoping that the two guys would fuck personally.
Really?
Yes, because on the bed, I was like, oh, is he gay? I'm a little excited by
I
this. I'm a
feel
little
like
aroused by this.
But like that scene where Cameron, like when he got in the bed with Ethan, it was like bro code, and I was like, hold on, player, because like it felt like he was insinuating that like he wanted to have a sexual moment with Ethan, and Ethan was like, nah, player. It felt like it was insinuated.
Mm-hmm. At first, I thought that Cameron and Daphne were in cahoots or something to try to like fuck with them in some way. I kind of still think they are, but
It
I don't
felt
know. I
that
mean,
way.
I did think it was ironic that by the end, Ethan and Harper were just like Cameron and Daphne at the end, and it worked out for the better.
Yeah.
So cheating helped their
I was
relationship.
just gonna say that it felt like everybody just needed to cheat, and that was the solution, which is weird to me. Like,
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be honest. Like last night, I was cheering him on when he was fucking Harper. I was like, yes, finally.
fuck your
And I think
wife.
right. Did you know what the statues meant? Because I it totally went over my head. I forgot what they meant.
I'm having half a memory because they explain that like all of the paintings and the statues relate to themes of what each of the characters are going through. So like season one, I remember that he was talking about the theme was money, and season two is sex. So it's all about people that have these like romantic tragedies via sex and how that plays
Mm-hmm.
into their storyline is what I'm remembering from like the comments after all the episodes. But I
Yeah.
forget the specific characteristics of each.
And a lot of people were wondering, did Ethan fuck Cameron's wife?
Which that's what it made it seem like.
I think he did.
I
I
think
think
he
he did.
did too. And I think Harper did more than what she said she did.
You think? Huh, okay. I wasn't sure about that. I think she was actually like, she already told him half of it. I mean,
The fact that she was willing to conceal it up to that point, even after this man is going through turmoil. Like my guy was dejected. Like
mm-hmm.
2.5 seconds from going to it looks like a mental hospital, but like she held it and concealed it that long. Even when Ethan was asking her to like tell the truth, she like hesitantly like gave the information.
Because at first I thought, okay, Ethan deserves it. But then I was like, well, why would Harper do this with Cameron? Like, she despised him. I mean, yeah, he was fine
Mm-hmm.
as fuck, but still, it just felt a little out of character. So I was confused by that, like how she even got to that point. So when Daphne found out from Ethan, I thought that was some good acting from her. Like I was reading on Twitter and they were saying that she didn't really care that it was Cameron that was cheating, but she cared more about Harper doing it from the expression on her
Hmm.
face.
So that was supposed to be her new bestie.
Yeah, I just didn't realize that when I first watched it. I was like, oh yeah, she's upset, but I didn't realize like, oh, maybe she is upset at Harper for that.
I don't know. Her entire storyline seemed to be wrapped up in her ability to like, despite all these fucked up circumstances of her love life and her life, like she still finds a way to get what she wants. While I do think she's probably pissed, it felt like there's enough inner chaos in her relationship to where she knew that she was gonna get back anyway. Like they
Mm-hmm.
alluded to the fact that her kid is not it's not his kid, it's the fuck buddy's kid already. Like
Right.
she got payback coming.
And speaking of that, did you notice that in that scene when he was looking at the mirror that people were saying that they think he knows that that's not his kid, like the way he was responding to her.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, go back and look. They said in that scene it was apparent that he knew that it wasn't his child.
Hmm. I'll have to go back. I didn't catch that.
And to wrap up the scene, they were talking about later in the episode when they were all at dinner together about the Maldives, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing those four back on season 3, and I'm pretty sure that one of them are going to die.
So I think the connecting thread for a new season is probably Greg, because like at this point his plan is foiled. Like there's enough trace to get back to where he can be implicated. I think,
You know what? That's true because Greg was in 1 and 2, so him being in the third one, that might make sense.
and would be the gag if they brought Belinda back to be a witness. Because remember, her plan to open up that wellness center was thwarted by Greg wooing Jennifer Coolidge's
Oh,
character. Remember, she gave her that proposal. She was like, "Yeah, I'm into it. I'm gonna think about it." And then by the end of the season, Greg had jumped in the business,
mm-hmm.
and then yeah. So that would be a nice way to kind of blend everything together.
That would be some poetic justice right there. So moving on to the next plot, the three generation of men and the hookers.
The Star 6 9s, as I like to call them.
So a lot of people were ragging on Albie. Do you agree?
Yes.
Why?
Now,
Just to play devil's advocate.
I feel like two things can be true at the same time. I appreciated that Albie was like the soft, intellectual feeling kind of person. He felt bad for them, was trying to have grace and give them kindness. I appreciate that. However, I think what the dad said is correct. Like, he's being a mark and he's allowing for these prostitutes to take advantage of him. Like, I felt like the dad was well versed enough in mess to where he clocks the prostitutes being like, oh yeah, like she's fucking this man and making him feel things that he never felt before. His mind is clouded, and and like it came off like a read, but like I think he genuinely like cared for his kid and was trying to help him, but also like his daddy is a mess, he is a mess. And who is he to be the person that's speaking, the sense in the room? Because like, well, you also got this mess going on,
Yeah. And I actually like the grandfather. I think he was one of my favorite.
He was funny.
He just kept it real, like it was.
A horny old dude.
A lot of people thought he was going to be the one that died.
It crossed my mind, but that wasn't my top pick.
So what is wrong with Albie wanting to save somebody?
Don't save her. She don't want to be safe. Don't.
Right.
We knew that. We knew that. They didn't want to be saved. They was looking for a come up and an opportunity. And I also feel that like I can't be mad at them for scamming and doing what they got to do to get what they want. Make the money. Don't let the money make you. Use what you got to get what you want.
Yeah.
Auntie Ronnie taught us this.
And speaking of scammers, like I didn't even realize like the pimp or whatever, like he was in the last shot when she was walking down the street. I didn't even realize that was him. And then I heard that he was in the first episode too.
He was kind of like
I totally
in the
I didn't watch the first episode over again and the last.
I was hoping that storyline would be a little bit different, but like,
yeah, I was hoping their storyline got dark or something. Like the pianist, the singer girl, like
I thought she was gonna die.
I thought she was gonna go to jail, like because someone else went to jail last season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, City Girl's up 1,000. Well, 50,000 euros.
They were there for what, 4 days?
3 or 4 days, yeah.
And they came up 50K. No albums out.
And she got a main steady job, so now they can be fleecing guys anytime they want.
They're being fed fucking financed, and they got a nice little nest egg to hold them over.
Right. They were the true winners in the end, I think.
They really were.
Ironically. Anything else on the three guys?
I thought it was interesting how each of them had to pay a price for their version of like sex and relationship. So like the dad was kind of beefed out with the mom, and she knew that he was in the streets. Mm-hmm. The dad clocked his son being in the streets, and then the grandfather also owned up to his own like mess and talked a little bit about like how that had affected his life.
Right.
And so it was interesting to watch how each of the three of them navigated these relationships with these prostitutes and what it meant and how they kind of looked out for each other. They're all fucked, but like it was interesting to watch.
And then by the end, when you see them at the airport, like it seemed like they didn't learn a damn thing.
Exactly, because Miss Thing walked by and they was all, oh.
So I'm guessing last but not least, I mean Tanya and the gays. I called it. I was like, the gays are dying. I did not see Tanya dying though. I really didn't.
I thought Tanya dying was the most obvious option. And I was like, oh, they're not going to take us through 7 episodes to get back to Tanya dying. Like, why would we do that? I convinced myself and I was wrong.
I actually thought the most obvious death on the show would have been Cameron dying.
He was top 2. He was number 2.
Because I was like, Cameron automatically was out because Daphne would have had a different expression. But I feel like Tanya's art, it was just so avoidable.
She is dumb. Mom is not smart. That is not her strong suit.
Like you already saw the uncle fucking his nephew. That wasn't enough for you. You saw the picture of your husband, Greg. And
Who
also they
you
could
should
have
know when you saw, like, why was there a question about whether that was your husband or not?
exactly. I was really frustrated by that. And then she told Portia, like at the last minute, how come she didn't tell her that immediately? She just wanted her to find out for herself.
The two of them are just two peas in a pod, just
Yeah.
making the worst choices. I was also mad that Portia could have took action a lot sooner to prevent some of what happened. I was particularly bothered that she waited until she was in the car with the kidnapper to try to bust the plan. You were in the car, the doors are locked. What?
She was peak white woman.
Peak white woman.
Like a white woman like walking in the woods counting her cash with like no type of like security around her or nothing.
Mama's counting out 50K over in Canarsie, walking down to get on the J train. Like,
Right.
girl, like, what are you
Unarmed.
doing? No weapon by themselves.
Like, what did it take for her? Like, I was like, you dumb bitch. He clearly took your phone. He clearly took your phone and
Clearly.
engaged with him.
Clearly.
And
At that
then,
point, it would have had to be like, fuck you, I gotta go, I'm out. And we would have had to pack up and go, because nah.
yeah, like, give me my phone. Like, I was looking at it last night. Where did it go? Like, no one came in here. It had to be you. I really don't understand the thought process. And then afterward, when she heard from Tanya that he was fucking his uncle, she still went with him
And still chose.
and got in the car.
No, baby, I need to go to the American Embassy right now. I'm not going anywhere with you.
And then, I mean, I thought he was going to kill her.
I did too. When she was
Especially
in the car and they was driving.
right. And then, like, when she got in the car, I think she said, are you going to kidnap me? Was this before they were about to leave or when they got to the airport area?
This was when they were in the car and she was trying to convince him to take her to the airport. He was like, yeah, I'm going to drive you to such and such. And then she was like, am I being kidnapped? Blah, blah. And it was like, this is the wrong timing. You should have asked this question before you got in the vehicle.
Who was your guess, by the way? Like your top guess of who was going to die?
So I thought that Tanya was the most obvious and they weren't going to go with her. And I thought Cameron was the second most obvious and they weren't going to go with him. I thought it was going to be one of the prostitutes. Namely, I thought it was going to be the prostitute that wanted to be the singer.
Okay.
And I thought that the events between Albie and Prostitute 1 were going to have dire consequences for Prostitute 2.
Gotcha. But let's talk about the yacht scene. So these gay murderers, what happened?
I said, you dumb bitch.
Right, but the gay murderers were dumb too. They could have been killed her. Ben.
Diggy, you know what I thought they were doing?
What?
I thought they were slowly poisoning her.
I kind of thought that too, but in the last episode, I thought they were going to put like fentanyl in her Coke or something.
Yes.
That would have been the obvious way to do it.
I thought, correct, because like it felt like they were like trying to get her to just be very just like gluttonous. Like she was it was very Dionysian, drugs, food, wine. She was partying, she was fucking, and I was like, that would have been the perfect time to like sprinkle some chaos in there. Like that's what I thought was gonna happen, and it didn't happen. And then we got to the boat, and I was like, so y'all picked the worst. How did we get here? There were so many other opportunities to murder her. Like,
I want to go back. I want to go back to you saying sprinkle the chaos.
Just sprinkle a little chaos.
Yeah, like again, they could have poisoned her food, but I noticed she wasn't eating on the yacht once she like had that phone call with Portia. Something else I noticed when Tanya was leaving the house, and you noticed that the gay guy was crying. I didn't pick up on that immediately, but he was crying because he knew she was going to die.
Correct.
Didn't see
I
that.
did clock that.
So then we get to when she finds the gun or whatever, the duct tape and the rope. When I tell you I was screaming in my apartment during that scene, when she was going all Rambo on these gays just to slip and fall to her death.
First of all, Mama has this gun. She not aiming. She just... And I'm like, what are you doing?
That is amazing. Like the meme is already circulating on Twitter. Oh my God. And I was like, yes, like she's gonna get away. But I don't know. I just didn't think her death was fair. You know, like clearly there was stairs on the yacht, and then you can do this, you can do, and then that loud clang just took me out.
But Diggy, like, that's why I think the death is appropriate, right? Like, she has her redeeming characteristics, but Mama's not all the way there. And so, like, very much of her life has happened because of circumstance and just like it's the perfect concert of like um chaos, luck, and like serendipity. Like the most chaotic things would happen. So, like, of course, she could, if they was gonna take her out, like it had to be some like goofy shit. So, like, you're right. She could have took the ladder. There was rope in that bag. She could have put the rope and climbed down the rope and got into the boat. She could have just free fall and jumped into the water because the boat wasn't that far. She could have waded over to the boat. Like there were several other options.
I heard that like someone said, okay, well, she's already a ditz, but add on to the fact that she was probably drunk and she was in a state of panic too, so she wasn't thinking.
She's a privileged white woman who's done probably nothing for herself for at least the last 15 years. Like, what do we expect?
When I saw her in that water, I was like, no, they're not doing this. They are not doing this. Tanya, wake up. Wake up. She's gonna wake up.
Wait, Diggy. And then the foreshadowing with the cell phone,
What was the foreshadowing with the cell?
she dropped it in the water.
Oh, okay, yeah. She was panicking about that, yeah.
The phone fell over. Ding. They foreshadowed her also taking a tumble.
Well, I will say that that death was not expected. They got me with that.
It was random. It was random as hell.
So yeah, we just went through the entire show, y'all. So my next question is, what would you rate this season? A grading scale, like letter grade.
I'm giving it maybe a B minus.
Okay,
I'm gonna give her a B minus.
collectively, the whole season.
Collectively, I'm giving her a B minus, and I'm subtracting points for pace. I'm taking points away because it wasn't enough Black people. I'm taking away points because I thought there were other more jolting and satisfying conclusions. If this is how y'all wanted to end it, I thought there were other routes that we could have taken. But it was enjoyable. I'm looking forward to a third season. I really enjoy White Lotus. I enjoy the tone of the show. It's like
Yeah,
it's like a dark dramedy type feel to it, you know. So like she passes, but you know,
I would give it a B plus, like almost an A. But I take away like a letter grade because it was just too many open-ended questions for me. That was my main thing about it because I was like, okay, so far I'm enjoying the show, the pacing, but I need for them to wrap this up in a way I want. And
wrap it up.
right. And how would you compare it to last season?
Oh, season one was everything. If I could get the landscaping and like backdrop of season two on top of season one, I would give it 100%. But like season one really gagged me. And I enjoyed it and it was fun.
It did gag me because it was very memorable, and I was hoping it didn't happen to that guy. It was like all the bad people won that season. At least with this season, like we got a few happy endings.
A 50K come up, I guess, is a happy ending. 50K come up.
And finally, where do you think season three is headed or should be headed?
So I'm gonna say something controversial, yet brave. I think we've had 2 seasons of Sunny Paradise. I think the next season should either be someplace cold. I would love for them to be maybe in like Iceland. I would also like to see some kind of like maybe cabin getaway, kind of like we in the woods, y'all type situation. I wonder how like a luxurious White Lotus, you know, chain would do something like that. I think that could be fun.
Actually, I'm in the opposite direction.
Really?
I want to be another beautiful paradise, like either South Africa, Thailand, or the Maldives, like Cameron said. Now, I'm not sure if they should do the same old, murder format, but I'm sure they can make it spicier in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. We've seen 2 deaths already. They got to jazz it up.
And I heard the creator at the end, he said the theme would be something else next season. I totally forgot what it was.
He did. He was. It was money, sex, and then season 3, I just remember him talking about
Oh,
consequences.
I think he was talking about religion.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
religion and something else.
It was like religion and Eastern philosophical tropes is what it was.
Okay. I'm looking forward to season 3, but I'm sure we're not going to get that till next winter.
We gonna have mutants before we have a new White Lotus.
Mutants? I don't know. I'm going to be 40 years old when we get like the X-Men. Well, y'all, that was our review for the White Lotus season 2. Thank you, Dooley, for joining me. I loved hearing your insight.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let the people know where they can follow you.
Yes, absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at _DooleyNoted_. That's underscore DooleyNoted underscore. You can find me on Instagram with Dooley Noted with 2 underscores in the middle. That's DOOLEY underscore NOTED. And for everything else, I'm linktree.com/Dooley__noted.
And I'll put that in the box below just in case because he
It's a lot
said
of
that really
words.
fast.
It's a lot of words.
Well, all right. Well, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the season in the comments. Like, what would you grade it? And yeah, I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.